Welcome, everybody. Welcome to ValueMatrix.tv, powered by ValueMatrix.ai, where we speak to revolutionary leaders who are transforming the startup landscape of the country. The theme of today's podcast is Rehumanizing Organizations, where we'll be discussing topics like thought evolution, need for emotional quotient to rehumanize your organizations, and adapting leadership to changing workforce. And before we begin, let me introduce you to our today's guest, Mr. Saurabh Nanda. Saurabh is a visionary entrepreneur with a diverse portfolio. In this dynamic world of business and entrepreneurship, few names stand out as prominently as Saurabh. A trailblazer and a visionary, Saurabh has made significant strides across various industries, leaving an indelible mark on each one. His journey is a testament to his unwavering commitment to innovation, excellence, and relentless pursuit to success. Saurabh Nanda's roots trace back to esteemed promoter family of Color Essence, the erstwhile owners of Nature's Essence, a well-known name in the cosmetics and beauty industry. With a deep understanding of the beauty and wellness sector, he has constantly demonstrated his ability to identify and capitalize on emerging market trends. Saurabh, I'll just pass on the mic to you, and I would let you introduce yourself in case I missed anything out in your.
Hi everyone, it's an absolute honor to be on Value Matrix podcast. And as rightly said by you, we have been in the beauty industry for almost 30 years. We have the privilege of exiting one of the most profitable skincare brands, homegrown brands, Nature Essence, which was sold for more than 300 plus crores to Samara Capital around 4 years back. And currently we own a brand called Color Essence, which is hovering around the 100 crore mark. And we hope to make it also extremely profitable, and then probably take an exit there also, because the only way a family unlocks value is to build a brand, and when it's the right time to pass on the baton, you unlock the value. And then we also have a small D2C brand called Mainstream, which is into hair care, and that has participation from various professionals and our family, which people are wanting to piggy ride on the very deep knowledge and insights in the distribution network we've been able to create in the beauty space, that people want to partner with the family on multiple beauty arms.
Wow, this is so inspirational to hear, and the volume of work that is being done at your end, I think it's just exponentially larger than what I initially imagined it to be when we started this conversation. So this is, my God, this is very, very eye-opening. Which leads to a question that when there's so much going on and you're working with so many leaders at the same time, and we've also been listening to these concepts where people are like, okay, AI is going to replace people and humans are all replaceable eventually. So there's been a lot of tug and war happening between humanizing an organization and then using AI. What I see here is that you are actually dealing directly with people, and tech comes later for you. And then what you're really trying to do is you're trying to create very robust business models. You're trying to create leaders. You're trying to nurture those entrepreneurs. So I need to know your thoughts on how this human element has actually helped you create this beautiful ecosystem that you have been able to develop.
So what I believe is that AI, like money, is a great servant, but if it becomes your master, it's doomsday. So I don't take any credit away from AI. It should be used to grow exponentially. But if it starts replacing the human emotion, the human fortress, then obviously we'll be creating a lot of unrest in the market. There'll be a lot of unrest which will lead to a lot of pain for even the top politicians also, because they have to keep their people in a very, very solitude, in a very peaceful format. And you believe or not, that the biggest pacifier in the world is people who are at work. When you are not at work, you will always be agitated. You will always be unhappy with yourself. You'll always be unhappy with the world. So if there has to be comfort, across the world, if there has to be peace across the world, people have to be given tons of opportunities. And we have to also align that we create the golden rule of teaching our people the rule of fishing, and not just give fish every day. Because if you make a very very important resource idle, and you make it absolutely useless, you're probably making life easier for yourself in the short run, but you're creating a big monster, a Frankenstein, in times to come, when they will just be used to getting fed, and they will not use their limbs and their minds to create a future. So what I have learned from my own personal family's journey is that people want to do something really great. People want to do great work at a job also, and they also want to excel in business also. And as people get smarter and educated, the bug of entrepreneurship is only getting bigger and bigger. So my biggest emotional play which I'm playing is I'm catching those professionals and those struggling entrepreneurs who want a helping hand, and I'm basically giving them that vision. I'm hand holding them, and I'm basically giving them a platform so that they can spread their wings. And I believe that everybody has unlimited potential. Like I do have crazy co-founders and co-entrepreneurs with me working together. And there is one gentleman who's right now a peon in my company, but he makes the most amazing rolls and sandwiches. I'm so in the mood to create a company with him also, because it's not just the right of a abled person financially to become an entrepreneur. If somebody is truly talented, he deserves to get that opportunity. And I am genuinely hoping that I have that strength, and I have that, I'm able to create that kind of money for him, that I'm able to create a chain of food chain for him also one day, where from nowhere, just purely on the basis of his talent, he's able to spread his wings and probably take his family to a different orbit. He does not have to get reborn another life to become something great. He can get that journey on in this very life.
My God, that's a beautiful thought. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Saurabh. Another thing I also, when I was listening to the chain of different different ventures that you have, ComboNation really stood out for me. And what I heard was that definitely you're trying to give a lot of discounts which people find online in an offline store. I've seen a massive shift in the e-commerce space. It has completely turned into It is completely turned into creating these platforms where people go online and buy stuff. But we still crave those human experiences of maybe going to the mall, going to the market, touching and feeling of the product and trying it on ourselves. And I think ComboNation really stands out because it also gives you that human experience that people really crave. So how did you really create a model like this? What were the learnings, and how did you decide that it has to be a physical store?
So obviously, all my business, they center around the human emotion. No matter how rich we become, how great work we have done in our lives, we want that tender touch of somebody, greeting us with a smile, showing us around. People are absolutely, it's said that, if the honey is good, sweet, it does not matter. The salesman who's selling the honey has to be sweeter. So our central policy is that anybody who steps into ComboNation, it's just not a discount we are serving there. It's a lot of love, it's a lot of welcome, it's a lot of communication, it's a lot of just human interaction, which is what we are serving. And we are also trying to now create a platform where when somebody comes in as a family, it's not just the woman who's shopping. Probably the child and the partner is also having some activity out there. So we're creating small game zones out there inside the stores, so that it is not just a boring exercise for the people who are not shopping, and they don't create a hue and cry for the shopper also. So it helps my case. One, both the sides want to be inside the store, and not just that the shopper is there and the one who's accompanying them, be the child or be the partner, he's forced to walk around the stores. So we are creating those play zones, and so that there is something for everyone. And physical touch, no matter what happens, we have seen in our COVID things, the only thing we missed was talking to our friend, talking to our colleagues, talking to our our bosses. And we loved the initial 1-2 months where we were given holidays, but then when it became too much for us, we just wanted to venture out. We wanted to come out of the cage. And the physical shopping experience is that people want to see smiling faces, people want to interact, people want to just feel very human. It's just not money which alleviates you from the pain. It is the love which you share with each other is what elevates you to a different tangent altogether. So that's where ComboNation, obviously physical store is there. You have the convenience of an online store also. You can shop online with the same discounts. So we try and create a perfect harmony. Wherever you come, you're most welcome, and you will all have all the love and welcome from our side.
Wonderful. It sounds amazing. So Saurabh, while you were talking about, in the previous response, you were talking about how you're working with these amazing entrepreneurs and these crazy co-founders who have aspirations to grow big. Now, it's also true when you're dealing with different leaders, you're dealing with different personalities altogether. You're dealing with different set of experiences that come through them. Have you found it hard or easy to work with this diverse portfolio of people and then again operating as a family or operating as a unit? How has that journey been for you?
So it's obviously it's the role of a father in the organization, because when you have multiple families and they have further families, the only thing you have to play as the biggest role is to juggle their emotions. If they come to the office with a happy face and their further families also have a different charge up, they will perform. So there are co-founders who are aggressive mindset. There are co-founders who are extremely diligent. There are co-founders who are extremely practical. So there are people who are minorly they want to have a safety cover also. So I have all of them. So normally a father in the family is the one who keeps a safety net, so I basically keep a safety net also, and I keep that aggressive stint also very alive, because if you want to create something, you want to leave the orbit, you have to defy gravity. And whenever you're trying to defy gravity, the amount of fire you will have to have in your belly has to be of a different kind altogether. And the fuel is not just money, it is also that mastering the human emotion. So I have the privilege of working with lady co-founders, I have men co-founders, I have young co-founders, I have aged co-founders. So everybody has a different emotion. And the thing I have learned as a entrepreneur is that you have to just keep your ego aside, and you have to work like water, very fluid in nature. And wherever you go, you take the shape of that container. And then with a child, you're a child. With a senior, you're a senior. You can talk their language, they will love you in your skin. And that is what I have been fortunate enough to deliver to them.
Wow. So just building on that thought, when we have different kind of leaders, we have different kind of circumstances, and you have different industries also that you're taking care of. And every industry changes in its own way. So e-commerce has taken its own shape. Similarly, media has taken its own shape. So how is it that you ensure that you're always ahead of the curve, or how you're always ensure that your team is up to the mark and your team is always, you're not following or chasing, but you're always leading? So how do you maintain that kind of mindset and growth mindset within the team?
So essentially, we are a very young team. We are always having our eyes and ears open. We are not only studying our competition, we also get tons of audience from the supplier base also, because there are times the supplier will teach you more than your consumer, because the consumer is very self-centric, but the supplier will give you everything you want to know about the industry, what's happening in the industry. So we make sure that our interactions with suppliers are equally aggressive as it is with the consumers, because there are different biases everybody will come with, and there are different learnings everybody will come with. So when you have a team, like how I save my bandwidth is, I have decentralized my power. If I hold on to power, I will never be able to do more than one or two businesses, because I've been able to decentralize my power. And I basically interact with the co-founders, and they basically manage the day-to-day affairs of their businesses. They only come for advisory, and because they don't fear mistakes, I have never given them the that stick or that fear factor as a senior in the organization, that you can't fail. You have to fail to grow. There is no way you can escape failure, but you can limit the failure by interacting with a person who has been there, done that, and who's made his own share of mistakes. So my job is to be very, very open, look for ideas, not just in my own industry, look for ideas in different industries, what's happening. Your ears and eyes are open. Your gut factor will always be 95% to 99% right, and that is what we tell our partners also. Keep your gut factor alive, keep your eyes and ears open, and don't have your ego ever coming in your way. If you can be a good listener, you can be a great orator, but you have to listen first to absorb, to orate what you're saying. So that is the skill set I've been fortunate enough to pass on to my partners, and they are also they are cold water, I am hot milk, and we come to a common middle ground where we learn from each other. We eat food like a family, we laugh like a family, we cry like a family, and we are there for the family. So we are the back for everybody. So it's like that.
It's a very interesting thing you just said about decentralizing your own power. So there's a lot of democracy that you have been able to maintain within your ecosystem. Does it also come with any set of challenges? And if yes, then how do you deal with them on a day-to-day or on a timely basis?
See, obviously, every human emotion, every human being is different. So as I told you earlier, that I have to play the role of water. I have to take the shape of their thinking. I'm only there as advisory, and respect cannot be bought. If they believe you are valuable to them, they will absorb the finer points. But they are also very creative people. They will do their own trials, they will do their own mistakes, their own experiments. And because we don't mind failing, and we are also there in an environment where there are co-founders who help the other co-founders also, and they're also giving them leads to them to sell their inventories into the other networks. So it's a very it's a very, very open and communicative kind of a environment we are in. And the concept is that everything is same everywhere. If the promoter is on a similar level, in every company it is the same. If the investor, which is friends, family, angels, it is the same for them. If I am the central figure, I'm the same. I play the same role for a ComboNation, I play the same role for a Nutki, I play the same role for a baby corn. So it's my job is to balance out human emotion. My job is to make them very happy in their skins, and then things work, they fall in place.
Wow. So Saurabh, there's a recurring element that I've been hearing in your answers, and that is human emotion, which is absolutely central to any kind of growth we want to achieve in life, whether it's personal, professional, in any setup. And you've also spoken about how you rely on a gut feeling, and you want others to rely on their gut feeling as well, because essentially that is what helps you make better decisions. Now this gut feeling and this human emotion and understanding, this empathy, comes with a lot of self-awareness. You have to be very aware within your own being. I just want to ask you, how have you been able to develop this sense of awareness within yourself, which helps you keep your ego aside, which helps you, become so fluid? How do you do that?
So I've been fortunate, to come from a family who started their business with no money in their pockets. My father was a top professional, and he was given mandates from the promoter of that company. Sign a blank check, but don't ever go from here. And his human emotion was that I want to be my own owner, I want to be my own boss. And he failed miserably for good 10 to 12 years, and then he created some rockstar brands like Nature Essence and Color Essence. So it's like failure is going to happen, you know and the failure happens because when a professional wants to graduate to being an owner, he's a domain specialist. He's never a specialist of the 360 degrees. Whereas when you're an owner, you have to be a 360 degree manager. And the most important skill set you have to have as an owner is to keep everyone happy. The trade gets happy with money, the employee gets happy with a timely salary, and also gets happy with a smile on your face that they are not your servants, they are your partners. So in our company, it's not just the co-founders who are my partners, it is the employees out here. They're also entrepreneurs. They have to work on their own P&Ls. It can't be that they come in with an employee mindset. Okay? So the mandate to them is, if you want to take the next growth level, it is your company, it is your business to take it to a next level. So we have been able to activate everyone, as one unit, as one large family of entrepreneurs. So we don't have only 9 odd right now and 19 in the pipeline. We have almost 500 entrepreneurs inside the company, and the force is only growing.
Wonderful. So, this brings me to a very interesting question that I'm sure our viewers would also want to know. There are a lot of young entrepreneurs out there who are trying to create their own brands, who are trying to create their own identity. And I really like the part where you shared that you do not want to dominate. You want to be a domino. You want to be a catalyst that brings about this beautiful change, and you play your part so well that you're not threatening anybody. You're creating a place of your own. What is the kind of advice, a practical action item that you could provide to the listeners, and how they should be either conducting themselves or how they should be thinking about their business to achieve that kind of mindset for themselves?
So I believe that the biggest skill any entrepreneur has to be, one, he has to be a people's person, and he has to be a great networker. Because if you can't network with the financial community, your best of idea will never get its translation into real world. So no matter what we say, there are so many vanity metrics we have. The only thing which keeps your brain running is the liquidity in the system. So what I educate them as a senior is, a lesser profitability is much better than a bank which has no money. It is only in the books. So it's always most important to be very liquid. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, always create those networks who will feed you with the right liquidity at the right time. Because if you run out of liquidity, the best of brands will shake out like a domino. You will just crumble in moments. And again, the same human emotion. Keep your egos aside, and be very clear that what you don't have to chase valuations. You have to chase value. And if you want to get something really extraordinary in your lives, be a giver first, then a taker. Whereas we mistake in today's time of overindulgence, everything is a 2-minute Maggie kind of thing. Life is about giving, and when you give, like a lioness, if you are willing to first feed your people, feed your partners, the lioness share always gets the highest. But that quality of a lioness is to wait patiently for their chance to come. So if that mindset is there, you will grow. But if the mindset is very short term, business is not for you, because business, it takes its own time to mature. And in today's funding winter, the cockroach mentality, it is so important. Can you survive a slaughter day after day and still have a smile on your face? If that kind of skill set you have, you are happy to be an entrepreneur. But if your patient levels are low, if you want instant results, business is not for you. It takes time to mature. It's like fine wine.
Beautiful. So Saurabh, now this brings me to another interesting question. While we have been discussing deeply about the role of EQ and emotional intelligence, but there is a lot of scale, like you said initially as well, that AI does deserve to grow as well. AI has a fair chance, not at the cost of taking somebody's job. but to grow and evolve in its own, and how it aids any business. So, do you see AI as an aid to your own business ventures as well?
So obviously, we are using the AI and other MLs to be ahead of the curve. You have to be smarter than your competition, otherwise they will think. But nothing beats human power. Nothing beats it, because if today everything can be AI, then how do you feed the other people? If earlier it was a million people running SMEs, and if you reduce that number to one tenth of that, you're creating a much more larger workforce which has no work to play. So the more they are out of work, the more pain it will cost to the leaders. So I would say, use it like a servant. The day that servant becomes your master, it is going to be catastrophic. The world will absolutely collapse like a domino. So I have this very strong request to all the leaders of the world, that every human has the right to grow, has the right to spread their wings, create opportunities for them, and this world can be a very robust place of prosperity and happiness for everyone. It's never a zero-sum game; it's a win-win game. And if we have people who can expand the pie, you will never go out of food. So it's like, create opportunities and let the people create magic out of it.
Beautiful. That's wonderful advice, and I'm going to note that down for myself as well. Uh, and this brings me to actually the final question for today, which is, how do you see the future of entrepreneurship and business diversification, specifically looking at your own portfolio? And if there are any particular opportunities that you believe will be the most relevant in the coming years?
So essentially, when it's good times, there are many pop-ups which are happening. Every gets funded, and when you get something very easily, you also tend to lose your mind sometimes. You get swayed by the sudden fame and the sudden adulation. So as an entrepreneur, you have to have you have to be an all seasons guy. You can't be a guy who's different in a winter and different in a summer. You have to have that like a straight line with a minor, so that you're breathing also, minor blips. That's fair. But if you have you are only performing in a funding summer and not in a winter, then it is not entrepreneurship, because then the skill set you are getting fed it's money fed. It is not your skill set fed. And I believe the cockroaches of today, or the people who can survive in the most difficult times of conducting business today, you will absolutely rock when the times get better again. Because times have to get better. If money is there, money has to be parked in places where it will give them return. But people who are frugal will always have a higher arbitrage to the revenue and to their expenses. So keep your expenses in check, and look for various networks of sales. Because if your sales networks are limited, one bad competition who just takes you off the routes will totally destroy your thing. And when you have multiple streams of income coming to you, the chances of failure will obviously go down. So keep your finance in check. Be very creative in your thing. The offering, worldwide the products are all same. It's all commoditized. What emotion or what human emotion you can bring to your brand will decide, where you will stand in the times to come. So all I would say is, it's a lovely journey, but it is like a masala movie. It's a pot boiler, that you will have action, you will have a lot of romance, you will have a lot of tragedy. And if you can find comedy in tragedy, then you can be an entrepreneur. But if you can't do that, it's advisable, you take a comfortable job somewhere.
Wow, that's a lovely line to say that finding comedy in tragedy is what really makes an entrepreneur, and I couldn't have agreed more. Thank you so much, Saurabh. This has been so wonderful just to have you here and listen to your thoughts. Thank you so much for giving us time and so many valuable lessons that I'm sure all of us need to go back and rework on our drawing board now and to think about how do we perceive our businesses and how not to get threatened by AI, but use it as an aid or a tool to help us succeed. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you.
Absolutely, Pooja. It was an absolute honor to be here. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you very much.
Eh, Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all our viewers as well. This was Saurabh Nanda, and it's been absolute pleasure for us to have him here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Saurabh. All right. Bye.